Our first speaker is going to talk to us about the Amazonification of media, and that's easy for you to say, Troy Young, a little bit harder for me. So please welcome the global president of Hearst Digital Media to open our conference today, Troy Young.
It's great to be here with you. I had originally titled the presentation The Amazonification of Media, and I'm going to talk about that, I promise. At the time, I was thinking about the phenomenon, and it really is central to what I'll talk about today. But I wanted something slightly more welcoming. Friendly tips for surviving the media apocalypse. It's really fun for me to be here in Germany because my maternal family is German, and I don't come very often. My mother's the granddaughter of German homesteaders who settled in Saskatchewan in Canada. I'm Canadian, not American. Here, somewhere there, they settled. And she was a generation removed from real Germans, but German pride in doing things the right way was a defining characteristic of my upbringing. In our family, there was the German way, and everything else was half-assed. What I didn't learn from her or my grandmother was how to decode a German facial expression. And now I know from Deutsche Welle that your eyes are the best way to say hello, and it's something like this. And I didn't make this up. This was on the website. So, and I realize you're not all German, but it's good to know. And I also learned that the polite way to say I have no idea what you're talking about is this, which I like a lot. So I'll be looking for this expression in the audience. Hopefully this will help you. And I'll be on the lookout for confusion from you as I go through some of my thoughts on media today. So let's get started. I have the privilege of leading digital business globally for Hearst magazines. We have a large collection of media brands and digital businesses around the world. Many of them you see here. We're here to talk about the future of media. I'll focus on lifestyle media specifically, though the principles and needs, I would argue, are mostly the same. We're all thinking the same thing. What is to become of us? Where is the road back to prosperity? Is there a future here for me? And so it's easy to feel sorry for ourselves, but I'm quite certain that it's just as challenging in many other industries right now. We are living in an age of disruption. Healthcare, retail, transportation, agencies, packaged goods, real estate. Technology is radically changing how value is created. In media, the wrenching changes that hit the newspaper business 10 plus years ago are cascading across network television, cable, the movie business. But what are the forces underneath this disruption? To me, they're pretty simple. The internet has undermined proprietary distribution networks and the stability and profits that come along with them. At the same time, it has democratized content creation, opening up competition for attention from anyone with a mobile device. Global platforms which enable communication across these networks have upended ad markets with granular data sets, global consistency, and simple ad products. The ad imperative is shifting decidedly to audience and performance. Media companies are forced to produce more formats inside of environments where we exercise little consumer or economic control. It's crushing margins. More worrisome to me is it has forced trade-offs in our P&L that has impacted the quality of the product back to the consumer. This is truly the biggest issue. There's a lot of talk about the power of the big two, Facebook and Google, as well as the emergence, particularly in America, of Amazon as a media powerhouse fueled by an enviable commercial data set. Roll in the hegemonic position of mobile operating systems, which are our new and most vital distribution point, and you can understand the growing anxiety in our industry. Our friend Scott Galloway of L2, in his book, The Four, argues the unchecked power of these powerful companies whose collective market value is now over $2 trillion needs to be broken up to preserve a competitive marketplace. This hyperbole sells books, but what does it really mean to us, and what are we going to do? We're going to do as Jeff says. We're going to lean into it. Let's work through some of the facts with a focus on digital distribution. I'll start with Facebook. Facebook and the newsfeed in particular is an extraordinary way to market content, but an unreliable distribution partner to build a real media business. More importantly, fighting for air in the Facebook feed has eroded our difference as media brands. In the feed, we start to look more and more alike. This is the death knell for media. More on this in a minute. To be clear, Facebook owes us nothing. We can choose to participate or not. The way I see it, Facebook is a toll highway. Exploit it to your advantage, but don't expect them to look out for your interests. Always remember, free distribution, like crash landing, jumbo shrimp, Hell's Angels, is an oxymoron. Distribution is never free. Google is the global brain and a slightly more reliable, it seems, source of distribution. Here too we rely on their benevolence. As more and more of the search query response moves into the results page, we're pretty vulnerable. Just look at what's happened to weather, to movie listings, to travel, even automotive in this example, especially shopping. Google too has become a toll highway for media companies. Instagram has emerged as a true competitor in the magazine space. Instagram is visual content of the people. It's addictive, it's shoppable, it's simple. You curate it. The ad products are easy to understand and powered by Facebook's enormous data set. Most importantly, a new generation of lifestyle marketers are growing up here, and we have to compete. YouTube has grown into the ultimate global service resource. I love this video. A space once served by magazine media. In beauty, fashion, food, home, fitness, if you are looking for how-to in any vertical interest area, you'll find it on Facebook, on YouTube. Whatever you want to be or do, someone on YouTube will teach you how, including a poodle workout routine. The good news is, while unreliable, these platforms have given our brands incredible reach. But long-term structural stability will require a platform commitment to curation. That's curation. By this I mean a commitment to real estate for premium media partners and a structured approach to revenue sharing. Now, we see opportunities emerging. Apple News, someone just mentioned the Texture acquisition, Google Amp Stories, Snapchat. Apple's acquisition of Texture 2 weeks ago is a promising step towards the monetization of premium content and a platform's commitment to making space for it. Having said all that, do you feel relieved? Not likely. So how should you respond? Here's a few things to think about. We used to have ad-led and consumer-led publications. Now everything is consumer-led. If you are not deeply feeding a consumer need, you will die, period. I want you to think about differentiation because it's so key and it's getting harder. Digital distribution channels blend media brands together in one giant mosaic. In a fight for relevance in the feed, publications have moved across a far wider range of topics, blurring lines between brands. We've lost the luxury of packaging. Today, we are facing a crisis of differentiation. Our brands are losing the uniqueness that made them great. Online, it's not enough just to be different. You have to be useful as well. So what differentiates? Voice differentiates, trust differentiates, point of view differentiates, deep expertise differentiates, great service content differentiates, local differentiates, but viral is not a differentiator. The internet forces us to be sharper in how we create, in our unique voice, in how we package, in what we do not cover. The best media brands stand alone in the minds of the consumer. The New Yorker, Cosmo, the New York Times, even the Daily Mail, in no particular order. These are brands that understand how to feed a need with distinction. Our old system of distribution made it possible for a lot of titles to coexist, even when they were very, very similar. Many magazine titles existed independent of real consumer demand. this will get much, much harder. Over the past decade, we battled for scale online, hoping that we could make up for declining revenues with volume. The complexity of paid systems online pushed us towards ad-supported businesses and away from subscription. We have to rebalance, and this won't work for all our brands. Many will die. Ask yourself, what need do you serve better than anyone else? Would someone pay for it? Selling media forces us to differentiate. It forces us to really, really understand the consumer. This is the theme of 2018, and I think it's great for our industry. Let's talk about the ad side for a sec. I think we're seeing the death of industrial marketing and an unstoppable pull of performance. Everything is faster now. In New York City, I can press a button on my phone and get groceries in an hour. Amazon brings virtually anything to my door. Endless entertainment options are available on my mobile device. While we talk a lot about programmatic, marketers still work in 3-month cycles. From client brief to agency, RFP to media company, response back to agency, then back to the client for a decision. Creative development back and forth between creative agency, media company, and client, back to trafficking, etc. And this doesn't include the most important part, which we rarely do, optimization and tuning of programs. This is crazy, and it's what I call industrial marketing. The complexity was okay in a world of proprietary supply chains, tightly controlled distribution environments, and TV advertising. It's not going to work anymore. Modern marketers do this a lot less. Randall Rothenberg, a friend of mine, and the CEO of IAB focused the spotlight on a new generation of companies at this year's annual IAB meeting. Growth in consumer categories is shifting to brands centered on direct customer relationships and agile supply chains, flexible enough to serve consumers as their needs evolve. I think Randall is very much onto something here. Direct companies look for the fastest path to a closed-loop solution. Performance orientation is no longer an option for us. It's just what everyone will expect. Performance isn't just selling or offers. It's the art of desire plus selling. I'll show you some examples in a second. We very much need to help clients sell. We need to help them understand what sells, who buys, and why. The difference between context and audience, or brand and performance, is disappearing. Embrace it or die. More than anyone else in the ecosystem, Amazon is accelerating this change. Amazon means one thing to me: closed loops. Never before in media have we been able to so clearly see the connection between inspiration and action. The line about half your advertising working, Amazon will help you understand which half. To us, this is an inspiration and a rally for change. Lifestyle media has always been relevant to marketers because it provides inspiration and buying advice. Amazon is forcing us to prove that it works. This is the Amazonification of media. So meet your next advertiser. In America, they look like Warby Parker, Casper, Dollar Shave Club, Away, Glossier, Airbnb. They are savvy direct sellers. They want to know the customer. They want data. And they want speed. I was chatting with the owner of a fashion brand and retailer the other day that sells direct. Two things struck with me. A, I understood his marketing problem intimately, and I could help him immensely. But two, or B, our industrial marketing methods were not set up in a way that could easily help him. He needed help finding his audience. He needed a way to connect service content and selling. He needed data expertise to measure and refine his marketing investments in real time. He did not need banners or branded content. He needed a system for digital marketing. But there's only one good way to help your customers sell. Get good at selling your own stuff. Products and content, affiliate, branded goods, articles, memberships, events. At Hearst, we buy media, we make experiences, and we sell for ourselves. We run our own closed loops. We will provide expertise to our clients in this area. I think selling results like this is the future of advertising. In this equation, we have something that our clients do not. Brands people trust for guidance and the experience of interacting with audiences 500 times a day. This is critical. So with this as a backdrop, I'm just going to get into some specifics of what we're doing and what it looks like inside of our company. So we're aggressively connecting content to commerce. Content is the new shop window. Our product strategy is to aggressively connect content data to product data to consumer data. Our systems make it easy for editors to do this. They can search for products across virtually any retailer, integrate them into content with real-time pricing and availability. Here's an example of a product integration process inside of our proprietary management system, which we call Media OS. Our service approach connects sharp, helpful content with products in a way that makes the whole experience better for the consumer. Here are two examples, one from Cosmo and one from Esquire. We've dedicated an entire team to understanding the connection between media buying, search, social, data, content, and selling. It's called Best Products. We leverage these learnings across our portfolio. In December alone, we sold more than $20 million worth of product. We are getting very close to understanding the yield of every visit and every piece of content. This is critical to our future. We see every single interaction as a learning opportunity. Comments were a failure, but we can still learn so much. Every time we touch a consumer, we try to learn one thing. Here's an example. It shows you how easy it is for us to include something like basic polls into every piece of editorial content. All of this data flows into our data management systems. Here's a few more examples. We think it's absolutely critical that we shift to outcomes. We call it engineered for action. Our goal is to focus our sales dialogue on how we help customers with outcomes. This changes the way we think and operate across the org, from pre-sales to content creation to optimization and reporting. Everything has to pivot around a goal. Optimization will massively change how we do media planning and execution. Our goal is to build a relationship with a customer that is as simple as the relationship Facebook has with an ad buyer. Our mindset is global and it's very platform focused. This is a very difficult cultural shift in a business where control and decision-making was historically very fragmented. The world is flat, technology is expensive, our competitors are very sophisticated. This is the only path for us. The past 4 years, we've invested more than $100 million in our platform. We have dozens of properties running on a system. We release code several times a day. Features like a recipe template, for example, or polls, or product integrations, product database, are developed for the best thinkers in our business for lead sites and rolled out around the world in a matter of days. Performance of every piece of content is shared around the world, real time, like in this interface. Our system automatically automates distribution to many, many endpoints. This is key in a world where the paths to content are growing and shifting. Example here of editors creating custom feeds of content to distribute to a partner like Microsoft. We need to be wherever consumers are going next, like here. Running a successful media business in the digital age requires an ability to manage the yield of every user. This means that you have to have the skill of buying audiences, converting them to revenue, and optimizing this equation real time. If you don't do this, you will always be subject to the whims of platforms. We need this predictability. We have a team and a set of technologies called Lift. We monitor profitability on acquired audiences in real time. Machine learning will be critical to the evolution of this set of tools. As I have said, this skill is critical to sell content and helping your customers sell their products. Our team is looking creatively at the paid relationship as well. We have to learn to package and sell better. Print is very key here, but it's more than print, and it's more than a subscription. It's really understanding what it means to be part of a group. It's membership. We love vertical communities and service categories like running. Why? Because people care. And when they care, we can sell them things. For a runner, it might mean things like this: premium training content, ask the doctor, limited exclusive product offers, discounts, event access, community, plus a printed publication. In closing, we all need to be aware of false positives. Facebook will not save you. Branded content is just the next generation of media service. Native is just a non-standard banner. Big audience is cool, but deep, segmented, active, paying audiences are cooler. You will not make video and become a cable network. Remember, lifestyle media is vital. It feeds passions. It creates communities. It leads to transactions. But differentiation of your feed is the bedrock. Learning to sell in real-time digital environments is equally important. If we remember these two key points, we're going to be okay. It's just not going to be easy. Thank you.
Troy, thanks. Will you take a question if there is one?
Whatever, yeah.
Great, okay. I think those of you who've been here before know how this works. Raise your hand. Just let us know your organization, your name, just so we've got some idea of where your question's coming from. We've got our first questioner over there, and now one of our microphones will be rushed direct to your seat so you can ask your question. You have chosen the most inaccessible seat in the entire auditorium, but we're not going to hold that against you.
Good morning, Troy. This is Srini. I come from Vikatan, India. Is there any way in which your Media OS could be a platform which other publishers can gain access to? Is there a plan for a rollout?
Yeah, we're talking. I mean, we do allow others to use it in certain situations. So we have a partnership with Shonda Rhimes in the U.S., with Corinne Reutfeld on CR Fashion Book. They use the platform to publish. And we're in the middle of a discussion to completely manage sort of end-to-end back-end for a larger media company. We've been cautious about it only because it's, it pushes us in a direction where, managing a SaaS business is something that should not be taken lightly. And once you have the needs of a new constituency, I think you just have to be really careful about it. For us, the one thing that makes it more interesting over time is, and the only way I think we would do it at this point is if someone wanted to sort of participate in the collective of what we were doing, and to me that's everything from the media system to ad product, because I think it's getting harder and harder for medium-sized publishers to be competitive in ad product. And whoever we do it with has to kind of want to do it in a way that's like a collective, as opposed to us, redefining what the experience is for every customer. But yeah.
Yeah, if you could count us in, we would be in the wait list.
Okay, thank you.
So do we have any other questions in the room? Just raise your hand if we do. And if not, can I ask you please to thank Troy? Thank you.
Thank you.